What a win. What a wonderful win to cap off a weekend. Sainers, welcome to Saints TV. This is the round 3 player ratings, and I think it's going to be an easy one. I think I'm going to be pulling out a few big numbers here, so let's get straight into it. And yeah, comment your ratings. Let me know who your best on ground was, and if you disagree with any of them. Let's do it. Brad Crouch kind of played one of his best games, if not his best game for the club. Number 1 ranked player on the ground, 29 disposals, most pressure acts on the ground, kicked a goal that kind of changed the momentum of the game. I thought he led from the front. He did everything right. That was the Brad Crouch that we wanted to bring over from Adelaide, and we got it. So I'm going to go big on this one. I'm going to give him... Oh, do I give him a 10? He did not do anything wrong. 10. I'm going to give him a 10. We're going to go 10 Brad Crouch. Jack Steele was good again, better than last week, I thought, although he had 13 tackles last week. I thought he, again, supported Brad Crouch really well, although he wasn't the star of the show that we've come to, to get every week. But he did what he needed to do. He laid only 3 tackles this week, so a bit less than usual. But around the ground, he was very clean and didn't really put a foot wrong. So I'm going to give Jack Steele probably I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. Max King, 4 goals, 3. Quiet first half. Good to take that into account. But basically, again, similar to last week, played a good 5 or 10 blistering minutes. And that was enough to put the opposition to bed. 4 goals, 3, 13 disposals, 7 marks. Not much more you want from your power forward. So I'm going to give him... It could have been higher if he played a full 4-quarter game. But again, I'm going to give him probably an 8.5 out of 10. Just some phenomenal marks, and some of those goals were beautiful. And his set shot kicking late was excellent under pressure. Jack Sinclair ran all day, doing a job in the middle of the ground that he wasn't prepared to do at the start of the season because he was playing on half back. But now he's in the middle of the ground and he's doing a great job. Created a lot of energy for us, particularly in the first 2 quarters when we were struggling. And then it opened up for him a bit late and he got a bit of the ball, and he always uses it well, and can't fault him again tonight. So I'm going to give Jack Sinclair an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Gresham, 32 disposals. He's just building into the season nicely. Again, not every kick's going to hit the target with Gresh, but what he lacks in field kicking accuracy, he brings in X factor and dynamism and explosiveness out of the contest. And I thought he brought that again tonight. He was very good. Didn't kick a goal, but did have 32 disposals, set up a lot of scoring involvements. And he just gives us that different dimension in the midfield. If he's not there, we're lacking a bit, especially with Zach Jones not playing, but he brings that. And it's just great to see him back out there and playing footy and enjoying it, and playing at a really good level. So Jade Gresham, I'm going to give him probably an 8 out of 10. Seb Ross, special mention to Seb Ross. I thought he was enormous today. 28 disposals, 17 pressure acts. He lifted massively in the second half when we needed to get a run on. He was really driving, and he did a lot of power running, I thought. Like there were passages where, we had chains of handballs and he needed to be the next option, and he was a bit whack, but he pushed through it. He used his endurance. He's got a good tank on him. We've always known that. But he's actually a lot quicker than people think. So he used that to his advantage, and he made some Richmond players look pretty slow, pretty lethargic. And I thought his kicking was better than usual, and there was a few nice kicks, even on his right foot, that he hit a target, and he was very clean by foot, and he didn't blaze away like he's been prone to do in a couple of games in his career. So Seb Ross, I'm going to go pretty high on this one. I'm actually really impressed with his game today. I'm going to give him an 8.5 as well. I think he was really good, and he set the tone for us in the second half. D-Mac, 21 disposals, 4 tackles, 17 pressure acts. Very clean game again today. Worked up and down the wing really nicely. Did what he needed to do. Kicked a point. Hardly ever beaten. Really good above his shoulders when he goes to mark the ball. And pressured all day, chased all day, and that's all we want from D-Mac. So because of that, I'm going to go with 7 out of 10 for D-Mac. Kel Wilkie kicked a goal. First goal ever for Kel Wilkie. So congratulations, mate. Very good effort. 66th game in a row. Kicks his first AFL goal. Sets us up at the start of the game. 15 disposals. I thought he was pretty clean down back. Richmond looked good early, but as the game wore on, he just cleaned up his act and was very clean and a very quiet Kel Wilkie game, but his opponents are always generally pretty quiet as well. So very happy with his performance. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Tim Membry, 15 disposals, 3 goals, 1. Kicked really well today. Competed really well. And a forward's job is to kick goals, and he kicks 3 goals, 1. So no issue there from me. I'm going to give Tim Membry a 7.5 out of 10. Mason Wood, 23 disposals and a goal. Built into the game nicely. He looked quiet early. First half didn't really do much. Second half again, as our momentum changed, he got involved more. Kicked a great goal from about 55 off 2 steps. And he just offers that good medium-sized outlet. And I thought that there were a couple of passages where he even turned off the 50 and set up some really good attacking 50s. And I think we scored a couple from them as well. So he's probably got a couple of goal assists as well as a goal for himself. So I think, Mason Wood, solid game, 23 disposals, 1 goal. You're not really going to be too fussy about that. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Jared Lynette, 19 disposals, very clean by foot. Really enjoying his calmness in the back line. He's got a similar sort of calmness to Wilkie. When he gets the ball, you kind of know what you're going to get. It's going to hit the target. It's not going to be anything too risky. And he's just competent. He doesn't do anything silly, doesn't give away silly free kicks, doesn't do anything to his man, doesn't give away 50-metre penalties that we're prone to do when we're losing. And it's really good to have a couple of cool heads in the back line that can take a man, beat them, and then use the ball really well. So Jared Lynette, I'm very happy with your game, mate. I'm going to give you a 6.5, or do I go 7? Ooh, I'll go a 6.5 out of 10, mate. But very good game nonetheless. Rowan Marshall, 2 goals, only 9 disposals. I think he played fairly forward. It seemed like Paddy Ryder played a lot of the ruck work. I'm not sure how many hitouts Rowe had, but he kicked 2 goals, 9 disposals, one of his quieter games in his career. But if you're not getting the ball, you're at least kicking goals, and that's what he did. So I'm going to give Rowan Marshall a 6.5 out of 10. Dan Butler, 9 disposals, 2 goals. Started good early. Kicked the first his 2 goals in the first quarter. Didn't do much after that. 4 tackles, chased hard. That's what we want from Dan Butler. Would have been good for him to continue his form after the first quarter. Kind of fell away. So because of that, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Josh Battle, 14 disposals. Not quite the Josh Battle from last week, but still really good. I thought he did some really good things in the second half. His ball use was great. Took some good marks. And he also uses his body really well. He's very physical. Even without the footy, he bumps, he tackles, he hurts players. And that's what we love from Bats. And he did that again today. So 14 disposals, 4 tackles. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Ben Long, special mention to Ben Long. Came on when Jack Higgins went off with concussion. Kicked 2 goals, 10 disposals. I think he laid... How many tackles did he lay? Only the 2 tackles, but, both of them, I think, they were set up his goals. Both were holding the balls. Both were goals that we needed at the time. We got momentum from them, and he kind of gave us a vibe. He had a lot of energy, and it doesn't mean that he needs to have big possessions to have an impact, and that's exactly justified here. 10 disposals, 2 goals, but it made a big impact on our performance. So because of that, and a lot of the comments came through after the game, Ben Long was very important to us. So I'm going to go high on this. I'm really going to go with quite a generous 7.5 to 8 out of 10, I reckon. I just love his endeavour, and watching a bit of the highlights then, you see a lot of the things off the ball that he does that kind of pisses off the opponents, and that's stuff that you don't get a stat for, but it really does help with the end result of the game. Jimmy Webster, 16 disposals. Used the ball well. Again, similar like to even a Ben Patton when we get to him. Didn't really notice him too much, but I guess that's a good thing where you don't want to notice your backman too much. You just want the ball to be repelled and then for the mids and the forwards to do the rest. And Jimmy did that last week. He did that this week. So I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10 for Jimmy Webster. Paddy Ryder, great to see him back out there. 6 disposals. Did a lot of hard work in the middle of the ground. How many hitouts did he have? He had 27 hitouts. So it's a good return for Paddy Ryder. I thought that the first quarter and a half out of the middle, it was as if our mids didn't really click with what he was doing. But then after that, it got a lot better. We got a lot of clearances. And I think a lot of that had to do with having Paddy back. And obviously the luxury of resting Jack Hayes and Rowan Marshall forward was really powerful in the last quarter. So Paddy Ryder, only the 6 disposals, but 27 hit-outs, set up a number of really good clearances for us. I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Brad Hill, 15 disposals, 1 point, 13 pressure acts. I felt sorry for Brad today because it just didn't seem like his day. Like nothing came off. He'd get the ball, get tackled, would roll to Nankervis. There were a couple of times where I thought he needed to go. The first goal of the game in particular, 50-50 ball, didn't go for it, didn't want to put his body on the line. They kick a goal from it. So that's the sort of stuff that can win fans over, is when you can see Bradley putting his body on the line. But I thought as the game wore on, similar to a lot of our other players, the third, the fourth term, he ran hard, he got the ball, used it well. It's just that his first half was a bit of a setback, but he kind of warmed into the game as it went on. So with Bradley, not his best game. I'm probably going to go with like a 5.5 out of 10, I think. I think it could have gone a 7 if he'd played well in the first half, but he had to grow into the game. But I'm just glad that he finished the game well. And that's pretty similar to someone like Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, who looked a bit shaky at the start, but grew into the game. I thought his field kicking was good really late in the game at important times. Lowered the eyes and went for his kicks into the middle of the ground and hit the targets. 12 disposals, similar to last week with the 13. I think he's growing into becoming a really good player for us. I'm going to give him probably a 6 out of 10. I think he was pretty good with it being in his second game. Jack Hayes, 12 disposals, 1 goal, 1. Battled hard. He's always a competitor. That's what we love about him. Kicked the 1 goal, nice little sealer at the end there. Apart from that, probably didn't do too much. I don't think he went into the ruck at all from what I saw. Maybe a couple of times. He's probably his quietest game out of the 3, but nonetheless battled really hard. So I'm going to give Jack Hayes a 5.5 out of 10. Dougal Howard, honestly, I thought he was pretty average early, I'll be honest. Thought Tom Lynch was taking him to the cleaners and he was just doing a couple of silly things, giving away free kicks and just not the Dougs of what we know. But again, as the game went on, took care of Tom Lynch, kept him to 1 goal, 2. Only had, how many did he have? Only had 12 possessions of his own, but it doesn't matter when your forward's not kicking goals. That's his primary job, is to stop his opponent, not to get the ball. And I thought he did that really well. So I'm going to give Dougal Howard probably a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Ben Patton, only the 9 disposals, quiet game. I think he played on Shai Bolton a little bit and Shai kicked 3, so not one of his best games from Ben Patton. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. And then the last one, obviously, Jack Higgins, only the 1 goal, 5 possessions, and that was all basically in the first quarter. And then he went off with the concussion rule, unfortunately, so he'll be out for the next 12 days. He'll miss the next week's game. But I assume he was going to have he looked like he was ready for a big game, and no point really rating him now, but I'll give him a default 5 out of 10, but I'm sure it would have been more as the game went on. So there you go. Lowest was probably a 5, and that's pretty good. We've had a couple of 1s and 2s already this year, but really happy with the performance today, guys. It was a flawless team. Team overall rating 10 out of 10. Ratton probably an 8.5 out of 10. First half didn't look right. Second half we got the balance right and it worked. That's what we want to see every week, isn't it? That Saints footy from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, scintillating football, 10 unanswered goals. We go at 33-point winners against Richmond after being 25 points down late in the third quarter. So brilliant end to the weekend, Sainers. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you agree with my ratings or not, if I was too generous or a bit too stringent. I'm always keen to hear your thoughts, and it's better when you disagree, honestly. If you just agree with me, then no debate. It's kind of boring. And I'll be back tomorrow for Saints TV Weekly, and obviously the podcast. We'll try and organise that for Tuesday night if we can. If not, it'll be before then, and I'll tee it up with the boys. But until then, guys, thanks very much for watching. If you're a Sainer and you're enjoying this content and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave your comments. Always love all your support. But until next time, Sainers, take care of yourselves, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.